Finally.
Finally.
Finally, we're here. And apologies. Apologies for being 17 minutes late. But you know what? Doing this stream stuff is a lot harder than you guys can ever understand. But welcome, my crew, to the Electric Digest. This is episode 1, brought to you by your man, of course, StillElectric, your boy to my right, Mr. TooDank.
What's up, everybody?
And we got a special guest in the house in the background, your boy, OG Mason. Struggle is real, bro. What's good? Thanks for joining. I hope you guys are hyped. Listen, we're here to talk some Tekken, bro. And I'm glad you guys could join. We did some work in the background, Dank and I. Mostly Dank. And
he listened. It was really enjoyable.
Oh yeah, it was a great time. And we had some guests yesterday as well. Malik and Effect stopped by.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just gonna talk Tekken, and we're gonna see how well this goes. I think you guys will like it.
Yeah, I suppose as like to form a little introduction to what we're trying to get done here is for today we're going to be reviewing on our own some of the matches that we saw from Brightest Lights last night. If you're new to this channel or you're new to Malik's channel, Highlight Fire, it's a weekly event that he hosts where he has 3 to 4 exhibitions every Tuesday, or sometimes Wednesday, but Tuesdays usually.
Yep.
Usually always a bunch of Boston players, but sometimes we'll do crossovers like we had last week with a bunch of Philly players. It's always really a good time. It's a way for us to get kind of like stories involved with the matches, along with adding some kind of a hype, getting people engaged with the community and stuff. The purpose of this is for us to like review these matches and maybe any more matches that people want us to review going forward, to help us get better, help promote the idea of watching your videos back as well. We think it's a really necessary way to improve in this game is watching back your replays, seeing your flaws live in action, and trying to figure out ways to counteract that and practice against that, you know? So here today, I guess we're just jumping right into it.
We can jump right into it, yeah.
So the first match that we had at Brightest Lights was between Rios and Gitaru. It was a really good match. I think we had a lot that we could take from both players, and both players had a lot that they could talk about too. The first clip we're going to talk about, just go ahead and play. We'll just play some highlights real quick for you guys.
Problem is, Bowman, you think that I know when they're going to hit rates.
You can also just play that music that you have in the background too.
We're not paying attention to that right now.
But we like to hear
We do like to hear
We do like to hear
Until that
this
shit
guy.
says
Because you know
KO.
what? Tuesday night
That
was
is literally-
special, bro.
I mean, I used
You know-
to change my
Yeah,
combos
every
in
Tuesday
tag
night
too,
gets
so
pretty
people
special.
didn't
Oh,
get
it's so
paid.
special.
So I
Like, I
feel him on
literally
that
like
one.
set up shop.
Oh,
You know, I make sure that
oh,
my
come
food is
on.
ready. I have
we're
a
going to
drink
walk.
nearby,
Oh, we
and I
could've
just
went to
sit
the
back
bar.
if I'm not playing and I'm watching
Jesus,
Brightest
rage.
Lights, man. It's such an honor to get all you guys in one
Oh,
room,
we'll get stuffed out
not
of the
just
air.
competing, but also kind of watching collaboratively.
It's
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like our new balance patch online. So
Yeah,
this
so
is
I think this clip I handpicked, most of these clips you're going to see, this is kind of like an unusual way that we're going to be going about it, where like we kind of just picked a bunch of clips / highlights where it's like stuff that players did wrong and stuff that players did right. Usually we got through pretty good moments where it was like a combination of both, right? Because nobody wants to just learn about the bad shit that they did. It's also really important to look at the good stuff that you did too, right? In this highlight that we grabbed here, we saw that both players did a lot of things well, which was Rios specifically had really, really good forward 2 whiff punishment. And he also had really good down back 1 confirms. He was up against Gitaru, who was having a really good time with zoning and applying a lot of like outwards pressure, keeping out Rios, because especially since Asuka's kind of like a poor offensive character, right? She has to work a lot harder than the generic character to get in. So I think Gitaru was showcasing a lot of really good zoning, but then he ended up overextending, got cleanly whiff punished by Rios.
yeah, and
Oh, we'll get stuffed out of the air.
you can see like I literally like it looked like Asuka had that match, right? Who won that?
Oh, it ended up being Gitaru, because then he ended up going back to zoning and keeping him out as opposed to trying to blend him, because when he was trying to go for the mix-ups, he actually ended up making the error and then got clipped by the forward 2 from Asuka. Which is like he had the entire set. That's kind of like was Rios' staple. He was getting a lot of forward 2 whiff punishment, like perfect whiff punishment. Like right there.
Okay, we're going to the
Yeah,
water.
yeah. In this clip here, for sure, there was a few things that went wrong, and also a lot of good things that I saw, like that big block on that low that didn't get the maximum punishment. Then we also saw like back one from Hwarang that got whiff punished with the forward two from Oscar, so that was awesome. You know, that shows a lot of improvement on Rios's behalf. You know, just from any of you guys that ever played him before, I think that he used to play pretty conservative, and you know, to see his improvements over the past few brightest lights, where he's able to kind of react to whiff punishment instead of kind of just looking at it, it's just like it shows that he's getting more comfortable with that character, which is super good, and it's like it's taking him to the next level.
Yeah, definitely. We got a whole bunch of more clips coming too from this highlights from this match. This match was really exciting from both players. It ended up in every single match actually yesterday ended up being really close.
So close. Malik, how do you do it, bro? I gotta give it to him. You gotta give him some credit for, you know, pretty much hand selecting and putting together these matches, because they're all pretty competitive, you know, as far as player skill level, and like over the past few brightest lights, and I don't even know when we started brightest lights, because we took a break for a few months, right?
Yeah, the
and
pandemic shook things up a little bit.
And then he came back, and it was like legit. Everyone got stronger.
Yep.
And not only stronger, but I feel like everyone got a lot more defensive, a lot more patient. And I just want to know who you guys are training with. Is it Justin? Is it Doc? Who is it?
I think the a really cool thing about what the pandemic has given to us was it's given the people a large opportunity of reflection. As shitty as the entire event was, for a lot of people, this turned into their training arc essentially at home. Yeah. And for a lot of people, you're going to see a lot of change, whether it's for the better or for worse, when offline comes back. And I think it's going to be really interesting. I can't wait for that time, because a lot of people are going to be vastly improved. I've played with so many people that during this time they've taken the time to like really reflect on the game. I think most people have taken a break too, right? Yeah. Breaks help a lot. They helped me a lot. I because of like the way online was, I actually stopped playing entirely, and I came back when they did the season 4 patch, and it's been okay. I still have to like kind of like just not get upset, understand that it's online, it's a little bit different, you know. Treat it as a training session for the most part, you know.
It doesn't hurt either when you take your breaks to continue watching Tekken. And because I still feel like that's an important piece that may be missing in this scene, that you know, just from kind of talking to a lot of you, like Malik, you in particular, I just found out that you don't even rewatch matches that you play. And so that's the reason why this thing kind of came about. You know, in short, with talks with Mason, I realized that a lot of folks don't watch enough Tekken, and even when you're watching Tekken, you might not understand what's happening and kind of like the meta and things that's going on. So I thought that this would be important to kind of bring up. You know, we just watch Tekken together and talk about it a little bit more, and it might change your mindset on how you play. But for me, sometimes I take breaks, but I'm watching Tekken, I'm watching my Tekken, I'm watching other folks' Tekken, people that play my characters, and just getting ideas on, or perspective. I think that's the main thing, and I think it'll really help with improving your game.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. And it doesn't even have to just be your own replays. I think watching, as helpful as it is, watching your own replays, you can just watch any Tekken. It's always very helpful. Yeah. There's a lot of content producers out there that produce, like, I think Ni, if you watch his channel, it's really good. He has a lot of English subs that he is for the sole purpose of, it's subbed in English for the sole purpose of teaching people how to play Tekken, because usually he'll do it on the videos where, like, he's vocalizing how he's breaking down this opponent, specifically where there's the character or the opponent's playstyle. Yeah. And stuff like that. I've gotten a lot of level ups from that. Same with like watching Bronson when he's doing his scrub videos, right? Yeah. And people are uploading their matches. I think that was a big inspiration for me to want to do this, is because I think watching your own matches does help a lot. And the scrub matches, along with hopefully at this channel, right, and this podcast we're doing here / Twitch stream, whatever, right? Hopefully it's getting people to want to look back at their own matches on their own, right? Because as fun as this is, we can't really help everybody, right? We also have to help ourselves. There's not enough time in the day, all that stuff, right? And eventually we want to do the viewer uploaded stuff, right? Because like right now we're kind of putting people on the spot. If you play it on brightest lights, you're just getting clipped right now and watching it live with us. Sorry. But hopefully in the future, we're going to have a lot of people from Boston start at first going to be uploading their own clips. If they want to, we'll review it live with them and stuff. and that'll be a fun time.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in that and want to get some of your content reviewed, if you played on Brightest Lights or if you played in a tournament on IFF, whatever it is, and you want us to review it, let us know. We'll work with you.
Yeah. So I think we can keep going with the clips now too, along with that match from Rios versus Qatar. We got a lot to get through here too, because there were so many good moments that everybody can learn from, as well as like showing off a little bit of the skill that these guys have, you know.
Yep.
So if I recall in this clip, it was a lot more really good trades with them, and also more examples of how good Rios' whiff punishment was, right? Because Rios took a really dominating lead here at the start. I believe it was like 3-2 or 4-2 before things started to swing back.
Yeah. This was a pivotal game because they're both 2-2 on both sides, and so the pressure is on both of them to get the lead here.
Oh yeah, and I remember exactly why I clipped this too, because there was a lot of really good momentum shifting on both sides, and both these characters are very heavy on momentum, right? I think that sidestep 2 is very pivotal in the way that he was able to close the match out, and that's probably something a lot of people have a hard time with, right? Like Asuka had this huge lead, and all of a sudden Hwoarang gets the throw break, and I think it's right here he gets like a counter hit or a launcher, and it just changes the tides completely, right? Yeah, he gets the counter hit launcher and just completely changes the tides. Now the momentum's fully on his side. And Hwoarang after a balcony break is always really scary because of that setup right there.
Yeah, and you know, look what happened there. He gets the balcony break. He takes him downstairs. He does the throw. It puts him in a favorable position where the opponent's back's against the wall with another break behind her. So, like, he was in a pretty good spot. And yeah, Rios was absolutely in a bind, and I think used the right move to kind of get out of dodge.
Yeah, and it was good timing too. You know, he waited a little bit before he was to bust out that move.
Look at this.
Especially considering after this, I believe that the 4-4-3 is extremely plus. Same with that low is extremely plus, and the sidestep 2 just barely worked out because that low is very plus. It just means at that moment he wasn't getting frame trapped. You know. So something for Qatar to look back on. He could have, in that situation, he could have done nothing, right? That's one of my favorite things to do in Tekken is, like, I get my plus frames and I do nothing because usually a lot of people will want to give you the reward for you, right? They're going to press something like sidestep 2, and maybe if he had just done a backdash, it could have whiffed, right? And then he could have just easily closed out the game there.
That is advice that I've heard way back in Tag 2 from JDCR himself.
Doing nothing.
He said, when you have plus frames, don't use them. He says do nothing or move.
Yeah, moving's my favorite. Backdash, sidestep, because it's very safe and you're covering a lot of options. You know, I think covering options is the most important thing in this game. Anytime you're doing anything, if you are gonna press, right, like that's the most important thing you're looking for is, does this move cover all the available options that my opponent has? And honestly, most of the time it's really hard to find a scenario where your character does that, right? A lot of times if you're gonna want to mix somebody up, it's a risk you're going to be taking. It's not always going to be a frame trap. It's not always going to be something that they can't option select, something that they can't react to, you know?
I also think that in that final play, he did the stomp from Hwoarang. I don't know the notation for that stomp, but I think it's plus frames. It has to be
very, very
it has to be plus frames. And so I also think that he could have gone for something that tracked. A move that I think was tracking, or just in general, I think it's a good idea sometimes to start relying on a lot of your tracking moves when your opponent's back's against the wall, because like the smartest thing an opponent's trying to do is they're trying to sidestep off the wall.
Correct.
And you know, fortunately for Asuka, she has a move that has a built-in she has an attack out of our sidestep that's kind of built in.
It's a little more evasive than just doing the sidestep alone as well. Yeah.
So there's something to keep in mind when you have your opponent's back against the wall, especially at a higher level. Tracking moves, I think, tend to be something you'd want to use a lot more.
Definitely. And we can go right into the next clip as well off of that. I think we had a lot to digest from that one. I think all these clips were... I tried my best to figure out, get a lot of highlights that had a lot to digest, but as well as like showed off a lot of the strengths that these guys have, because it's not all bad. I think everybody is doing very well lately in this scene. The growth is phenomenal, and there's just always the work to improve on. And pointing out things that you guys are doing right is even better, right? Because it's like, that's us telling you, good, you keep working on this and keep using that as something that is a tool that is in your favor, you know?
Yeah.
In this clip, there was a lot of really clean pressure. So you were saying that the pressure that Guitar wasn't applying before wasn't exactly tight enough to get Rios to stop his mashing. I think in this one it was actually much perfect, his offense, the way he was layering it, like that backdash. He was doing exactly what we said before, do nothing, right?
Yeah.
He simply did down forward 1-4 backdash, saw the whiff, and did back 3 to whiff punish, and look at all that damage he got from it.
Yeah.
And then Rios had an amazing play here where he did a crazy wall conversion, like turned around, got him on his back, and put him on the other wall. That was insane. But unfortunately wasn't able to close out the round. A problem that I think is I think it's a big problem in this region most players have is closing out the round, but it's probably one of the hardest things you're going to learn at intermediate Tekken.
It's so true. Yeah, I still say that to this day. Closing out in this game is so hard. You're so afraid to end with the lows, especially when you're playing at higher level. Like it's worth it sometimes to make a comeback with a low parry, and people are looking for them, like literally fuzzy ducking. So I think but you know what also is super important here in this particular scene was positioning, and you know he had his back against the wall, and I felt that was an ideal way. His goal should have been to try to keep his back against that wall, and like slowly kind of put pressure on him with movement, with dash blocking. You'll see it when we pull it up. All right, it changes here. Oh, he pressed.
Yeah, he pressed.
He pressed.
Yeah. Which is like, that was a good adaptation from Guitar, though, remembering what had happened in the last time. Because that was that match that they had on the jungle stage was only last round, you know. So that was definitely something that was fresh in his mind about how Rios was going to react, which is always very important, right? Conditioning is all about understanding what your opponent did last and then thinking about what they could potentially do next. And the answer's always going to be different depending on every opponent you play. And that's probably the hardest part about Tekken to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Is like, you're going to have players that they're going to do the same thing over and over again. You have to convince them not to do that, right? And you're going to have players that mix it up so well that you're never going to have the counter to what they want to do, right? Your timing's always going to be off. They're going to be one step ahead of you kind of a thing. So adaptation is such a key thing in this game. And that's what's really cool about Brightest Lights, right? Is they do first to 5 is the shortest set. First to 7s are always the main event.
Yep.
So that's a really long set, and a big part about that is stamina. It's about how long you have in your mental battery, right?
Yeah.
Like how long your head can't last in the game,
Yeah.
and also how many ideas you have in your pocket, right? Because some people run out of ideas really fast.
Yeah, once all the tricks are used up, what else you have? You do have to resort back to fundamental gameplay, and so we want to sharpen that up as much as possible.
Absolutely. I think if any of the faults that we found in any of these clips, it was pretty much just solely about fundamentally stuff, right? Stuff that pretty much anybody can take this stuff. It's not just these players here. Anybody can look at what we're going to be talking about and take something for yourself about fundamental Tekken and how to apply it in your own game plan.
Sweet.
Yeah, so what's this next clip? I already forgot all the orders of my own
It's all good.
script, bro. So this one was a very impressive one. I think it's a Guitar stealing a match. And this was how he got his momentum back to get it into, it was 3-3. I think he tied it up.
Yeah, Rios is up.
Yeah, we're missing the full extent of it, but it was something that I think is really impressive and you don't actually see enough Hwoarang players do. So we're going to play it back and then we're going to see exactly what he did.
All right, so.
And this is also another case too. A common theme in all of these clips, on both sides of Guitar and Rios, right, is closing out the match. But that is something you're going to see all the time in these matches. So Guitaru immediately taking advantage of the drop combo applies a lot of plus frame pressure, and then he uses 2 throws to get all of that damage, right? Because those throws also have Oki pressure. And I think that is the best part about Hwoarang is his ability to shift the momentum in his favor. All he needs is a backdash that turns into a whiff punish back 3. That turns the whole tide of the match around.
Absolutely.
If he's able to get his plus frames and turn it into a three-way mix-up with his throws, that immediately becomes a huge favorable position. Like right here, you just saw you got the back turn Oki again, another back 3 on the ground. If Rios had gone up there, he would have gotten launched. So many ways that Hwoarang forces you as the opponent to make a decision, and anytime your opponent's forcing you to make a decision is where he's potentially going to make you make an error.
Yeah, another thing too is that I think Guitaru learned probably later in the set that he could actually mix up some of his command throws and get some really good damage in this matchup in particular against Rios, who probably wasn't breaking throws as much as other opponents.
Yeah.
And also Horong is blessed to have like an array of all of the command throws.
Yeah.
Your 1s and your 2s and your 1+2 breaks. Like he has all of them, and so that's one thing I think fundamentally that people forget about is throwing.
Absolutely.
It's so important, even if it's just a regular regular throw.
A lot of people will, and that's such a good way to link into the next match too that we're going to show after this with the match between me and Chiliums, because like what I was going to say is that a lot of people will assume because of the whole change that they made to Tekken 7's throw game, right, where it's easier to break the throws, they have the larger window, people automatically assume they're useless, and they're really not.
No.
If you throw someone 100 times and they break 98 of them, those 2 that hit really count. On top of the fact that not many people are going to be getting that ratio of 98 out of 100 throws broken. Pretty much in America, just players like Anakin, Cuddlecore, Joey Fury, Jimmy J, those are the guys that are going to be breaking throws every time on reaction. And even then, there's still ways characters have to mix it up. Hwoarang has back turn throws, and that is a way you cannot visually react to.
Yeah.
It's 100% a mix up.
Yeah, Fang.
King and a lot of the other big body characters that are grapplers, they have ways to hide the throws because of the camera shifting and positioning at the wall. So there's plenty of ways to make it work, and I think it's definitely something worth exploring. It's not something to just kind of dismiss. Throws are extremely good in this game. Most characters get Oki after their throws as well. Just continues the pressure. Another
thing to note is that even if your throw gets broken, depending on what that throw was, it changes positions for you.
Yep.
And so it could be favorable. Your back could be against the wall, and you're thinking that trying to sidestep off might get you clipped. And so you throw instead, knowing that your opponent's going to break the throw, and you guys have switched positions.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's a great way to reset momentum, restart the neutral, and also have your opponent's back against the wall.
Yep. And then I think we just got one more clip of that Rios match. And it's a pretty good way that he closes it out, I recall. Yep. This is how he closed out the match. Oh, I almost forgot to say, too, in that last clip, the one thing that was also a common theme for both players was kind of subpar block punishment. A lot of stuff was completely let go. And then in other scenarios, they were doing just small punishment for things that were launch punishable. Like that right there could have launched.
Yep.
Same thing in the last match. The Hwoarang had blocked the forward 2. He could have launched that.
Yep.
And that's huge reward that is just kind of just left on the table, you know?
Yeah. No, I've seen these BostonTekken players become a lot better at blocking things versus kind of just pressing buttons.
Yep.
And so now I think the next level will be block punishment and like optimal block punishment.
Yeah.
Which means that you'll probably have to learn some matchups more. Some things will be a lot more obvious than other. Obviously, if there's certain lows that you block that have block stuns, like big block stuns, you know it's launch punishable. But as you become more in tune with the character that you play, try to learn like their best punishers and see what characters you're fighting against. You can punish the hardest, because that's going to be important. Like, don't leave damage on the table is one thing that Offenbed used to say all the time. Like anybody that does something that's punishable, whether it's -12, -10, like that's free damage someone's giving you, so take it.
Absolutely. And one thing that's really impressive too, like I was saying constantly with Rios, is his whiff punishment, right? And it's really good that is something that he decided to focus on as a skill primarily instead of block punishment, because whiff punishment is something that can be used universally. Yeah. Learning how to visually see something whiff and then doing something that allows you to be ready to react and whiff punish, right? Like when you sidestep, you have an intention that something is going to whiff and you're ready to whiff punish with your proper tool, right? And that's something he's always been prepared for every time you see him moving around. And it's really good because, like, when you're, instead of learning all the matchups and their block punishment, which isn't necessary, right? It just takes a long time, right? Whereas, like, whiff punishment is something you can use as your basis for every matchup, right? Just getting them to whiff stuff, and then you figure out proper ranges that you want to be at, ways you want to move around certain characters. That stuff is really important for fundamentals, because moving around is the same with every character. Whereas, like, block punishment is where you start getting into really specific stuff. Trying to learn every character in the game is really hard. It takes a lot of time. You don't want to overload yourself. If you try to give yourself too much information at a time and too much stuff to practice at once, you kind of just get burnt out. You don't learn anything. So
I also like how Rios ended that match where he finished with like a small combo, and to close the gap he did just a short forward 3 to come in closer. You know, obviously if you hold the forward 3 longer, you know that's an unblockable, but he just closed the gap just a little bit and went right into a small low.
Yeah, I think his awareness here was very strong. It was because he knew both the stage and his character very well. He knew that he was able to get that reset if Guitarra wasn't teching. And in that scenario, he knew he wasn't going to be able to get to the wall either. So if both those things were going to be true, he was going to have a clear route to closing out the match, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, good stuff to Rios here. He played well, and Guitarra, shout outs to him too. He's been super consistent with just competing in Brightest Lights, and we definitely recognize you. Good stuff.
Yep. And we should probably speed things up a little bit because we do got like 3 more matches to go through. So we're probably going to talk a little faster, even though these next matches probably have a shit ton more to talk about. Next is Jamira Queen versus Live Fast, and I had a lot of fun watching this.
Oh my God, who didn't?
It was everyone in the chat was freaking out too, and I think it was just the way the momentum shifted so fast between these two players. Jamira Queen came out the gate 4 straight with an amazing lead. Live Fast with a very clean adaptation, and I mean it was just a great set. And there's nothing more you could ask. Couldn't ask for more as a fan of Tekken.
Yeah, and a fan of Jamira Queen in general because you know, like her game has greatly improved from the time she was playing not too long ago in BP.
Absolutely. It can tell a lot of people in the chat became fans of Jamira Queen that day. She was even very happy on Twitter afterwards, you know, taking it all in.
Hell yeah.
Really embracing the community and the W from that day. And that's all we really asked for. None of this stuff ever really gets personal, right? Yeah. Like, these guys are great friends. When we go to offline, everybody's just happy and shit to see each other. All these matches, no matter the stories behind them, it's all in good fun, you know?
It is all in good fun. I mean, this is WWE, BostonTekken style. Don't get me wrong. And we like it, but it's not personal. It's never personal. This is the whole point of Brightest Lights, man. This is the competition that we need. We need to push ourselves to that next stage. And also, too, you get a lot more confident just being on camera and watching people watch you play.
Absolutely,
which I think is also important as well. It'll get you a lot more confident with playing on tournament playing
if you're someone who wants to compete, it's like a very necessary skill that people if you're new to it, you underestimate it. If you've been through it, you definitely don't underestimate it. The nerves are very, very real, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's so many different scenarios that are completely out of your control, and it's about like you being able to kind of ignore all that stuff, just ignore the outer world and all the things that aren't what the match is right now and what matters about the match, and be able to focus on what matters.
I wouldn't even say ignore. I would say embrace.
Like, some people do that. Everybody's got a different way.
Yeah. You're nervous, and I want you guys to know that that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you're playing in rank, if you're playing in Brightest Lights or First to 5, you're playing in Iron Fist Fridays, and you feel nerves, if you feel scared, it's good. You know what I'm saying? And if you keep doing that same thing that makes you feel scared all the time, it gets a lot easier.
Absolutely. So, enough about reviewing the entirety of the match. Let's talk about this clip. I think this clip shows the great extent of how strong Jamira Queen's poking was, and how that was the big thing that helped her in this match entirely. But at the same time, I also think that was the greatest flaw that Live Fast could have been exploiting, right? Everybody was praising her standing 3 usage, which her timing was phenomenal, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. It's not that easy to be like, just step to standing 3.
Yeah.
But
look at that. Just keep out. You trying to come in? No. You trying to come in? No.
Yeah. But at the same time, if Live Fast is able to get a read on the timing, right, it becomes much easier to step.
Yeah.
It also is very easy to whiff punish. Same thing with the extensions afterwards, right? If Josie does 3-2 and he blocks it, he gets 4-1 as a block punishment. And 4-1 for Dragunov, that's like his drug. He needs that. Because that's how his game plan gets started. He gets a +9 and he turns into a gorilla, right?
Yep.
And then same thing with making the 3-3 whiff. You get wall standing 2, big damage combo, lots of reward that's left on the table. I think he only did it once the whole set, but he did it when it really counted, and that's what's really cool.
Yeah.
And also Dragunov's whiff punishment is phenomenal with crouch dash 1 and down forward 2, right? Applying movement at the right time, making a lot of Josie's very linear moveset whiff through sidestep and backdashing, right?
And Drag has better movement than Josie. He is on ice skates. If you've ever played Dragunov before, you'll absolutely feel the difference as far as sidestepping goes, as far as backdashing goes. He's just covering more ground than she is.
His movement does feel good, especially
Yeah.
comparatively, right?
Yeah.
I guess I've been playing like a lot of the female characters, so like with them, I just feel like it's like I'm definitely on ice skates with them. And you play Zafina too, so I
yeah.
mean, you probably
Oh yeah.
feel the most privilege out of everybody.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Feels like I'm playing tag too. That's what it feels like.
Oh man. So on the next clip, we're actually going to see a lot more bigger examples of what we were talking about before. A lot of dropped opportunities from Live Fast in terms of whiff punishment, but still a lot of linear poking also that is really working out for Josie. I think the timing is really what makes it work out the most for Jameer Queen. She learned a lot about the way that Live Fast wanted to play, right? Like his tempo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she also knew a lot about like when to go forward really hard and when to tap on the brakes, and that exploited a lot of problems out of a lot of faults that Live Fast was showing.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that you saw, he did sidestep up forward too, and I didn't know if that was an input error or a bad choice of move for the whiff punishment, right?
I never see Drag do that move.
Yeah. So it's probably just a bad input error.
Yeah.
Which is still, even that in itself, it's something you can work on, right? Like, damn, you know, I missed that opportunity to sidestep. That one was just like kind of random.
Yeah. That
This
was
one
random.
afterwards, I really couldn't tell because he sidestepped, saw something whiff, and did up for it too. So I was like, damn, that was a really good opportunity for whiff punishment. And he was in rage. That could have been the whole momentum shift right there if he had did sidestep down for it too.
The only thing I think that he potentially was looking for was a low.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he was just trying to low crush something.
Yeah.
So, but it didn't work.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what else is there? Let's see what we got next. We got like 8 or so clips from this match.
Yeah, and of course, because it was so hype and it was like, it was good. It was competitive.
Yeah. And one thing to note too is that even though Jameer Queen did take the first 4 matches straight, it wasn't like a clean victory for her at all, you know. And especially with this match and the one prior where Live Fast actually chose an infinite stage, it definitely helped him a lot, gave him the room to breathe that he needed. Even though like it kind of hurts Dragunov because he definitely likes the wall as much as Josie does. He also shows here a little bit more cleaner whiff punishment, which is good. That shows him adapting more in the middle of the set. Whether it's him actually adapting to the situation or it's him warming up, either way it's fine, you know, because that's showing that you have like you are paying attention to what it is you need to be working on, and if you're able to do that, you're going to grow very fast.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Yes. So more people failing to close out the match. This stuff is some secret Josie stuff that I was really hoping to teach her, and I can't wait because it was the perfect opportunity. So she gets a really amazing interruption here on the running two because it wasn't frame tight. And then the clip's gonna freak out. That was interesting.
So it looks like she didn't do the optimal combo.
She didn't do the optimal combo, yeah. I don't know if it freaked out on the stream, but it freaked out for us definitely on our monitor here. But she got a very clean interruption with her down forward two, and it if she had done
It's looking clean on your end.
okay,
FYI.
It's just ours that
It's
looks
just, yeah.
okay. It's just ours that look crazy.
It's just how it is.
So if she did the normal basic bread and butter that works on everybody, 100% there's nothing wrong with that. But in this situation, she could have had the awareness to realize that she could have done a male only, not just male only. It's like a little more than half the cast. You can do you do the same thing except you add a forward 3 in, and you do 3-3 afterwards. So you do like forward 1 + 2, standing 4, forward 3, 3-3, and then you do the normal shit afterwards, and that would have killed.
That's what
Instead, what ended up happening is she lost this match from not having enough damage on the combo.
Yeah, imagine that. Actually, I've been here before. I have absolutely been here before in tournament and have lost because of something like this.
I have lost so many times from not knowing the optimal shit.
You are notorious for losing just like this.
Yeah, thank
Do
you.
you remember a time that you and I had a set? Did we do a 1st to 10?
Probably.
We
Oh
did a first
yeah,
to
I know
10.
exactly what you're talking
I
about.
think you were playing Fakumram though.
Yeah. When he was busted, yeah.
And when he was super busted.
Yeah.
And you actually had me on the ropes.
Yeah,
You remember that?
I remember that.
Does it hurt still?
It always hurts, but I mean
Okay.
that's the thing is like you go through a lot of pain, and it's like it's up to you. Is like you either learn from it or you walk away from it and like don't learn anything.
He
right?
lost a 9-4 lead, is what Doc is saying. Yeah, he
Damn,
remembers
even
that.
Doc's gonna remember my pain just so he can call me damp.
A 9-4 lead, and he lost. Say it one more time for the chat, Doc.
It's crazy. I'm being assassinated over here. My character is in shambles.
We love you, Dank. We know what you need to work on, and that's fine. We all have things to work on. All of us.
Yep. And then in the next clip, we also have even more of another missed opportunity from Jameer Queen, I believe. Yeah, this is when she had another opportunity to close out the match and didn't. And this was like stuff like this was a huge instrument in Live Fast getting his comeback, right? Because he's already 4-2 at this point.
Yeah.
And if she blocked the down 2, and this is a very matchup specific thing. That is minus 13 on block, and she has a minus 13 while standing launcher.
She can launch that.
So she could have won this match. Instead, she lost, right? And that is something you have to be aware of. When I was playing Josie, at least, right there, she did the wall standing 4 instead of the wall standing 2-1. I was like, that was like the only thing I focused on when I was playing Josie. I was like, all right, I'm playing versus Dragunov. He's got a minus 13 low. He's fucking dead.
He's dead.
I'm looking for
He
that.
can't do that low anymore.
Yeah, you cannot do that low.
It's one of the reasons why I tell people, like, you know, I used to be a Kazuya main, and I still play Kazuya, right? But I actually do not like the Devil Jin versus Kazuya fight.
Because it's down 3.
Because Kazuya launches all my lows.
All of them. Yeah, pretty much
Except
all of them.
for-
Down
except
back
for my
2,
down 3.
Down back 2. Yeah, down back 3. Is it down 3? That's like exactly minus 12, isn't
It's
it?
exactly minus 12.
Yeah, but then down 4, he's also going to reach that from good ranges too.
Yeah, it's just those characters that can do like the special things like launching
Eddie
at
as
minus
well,
13. Eddie, Kazuya, Josie, like it makes you have to put down some of your best lows because you don't want to get launched.
Exactly.
But okay, the point of that was really to highlight how important it is to know your frames, especially if you have characters that can launch at such a low frame,
Yep.
like 13.
Now, I believe this one was more on Live Fast really sealing that comeback in. He had a really nice combo, very nice whiff punishment and adaptation from him over here as well. And a lot of it was, again, taking advantage of some dropped mistakes from Josie.
Ooh.
Because look at that big counter hit that should have cleaned out the game. She drops the combo. Wall standing 2 is going to launch her.
Oh, wow, saying
And this combo was phenomenal. Gets a beautiful optimal combo over to the rage drive. I wonder if doing the shoulder would have killed her. It might have been the exact same damage, but he still closes it out anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he has another move that does higher unscaled damage after the rage drive. Back 1 plus 2,
Back 1
maybe.
plus 2, yeah,
I
but
think back 1 plus 2 and down 3 plus 4 or down 3, whatever it is. I think they do the same damage. I think you have to do shoulder if you want more. But even then, I think shoulder does the same.
But I have seen in some certain circumstances where that back 1 plus 2 sometimes doesn't.
It whiffs a lot.
And so I think he went for the shit that he knew was gonna hit.
Stomp always works. Back 1 plus 2 whiffs a lot, especially at the angle that wall was at.
Yeah.
That was him just playing it safe.
Yeah.
And him continuing to play it safe was fine, right? Because the next thing he did after that was just a basic mid poke down forward 1, and he caught her pressing a button, I think, right? And that was such a genius thing because both players are going to be desperate to close out the match. He's going to do the safest thing he can, you know?
Well, and did you see what he did? He walked forward a little bit.
Yeah, to make sure it was going to hit.
Yeah, he played with the timing though. Also, is what he did. Because she was sticking out the foot.
Yeah.
She was ready to stick the foot out no matter what because she just wanted him away.
Yeah, she was doing that candidate standing 3.
Yeah, he walked forward just close enough to hit that down forward 1 and close out the match. That was really cool.
And then 2 more clips here. I think one of them was exploiting her. Josie was kind of sticking to her guns a little bit too much here while Live Fast was like really, really adapting to her game plan. And I remember seeing a lot of people in the chat too even mentioning how he has a lot of good counter hit tools he could be abusing. The biggest one being 1-2-1, right? And there it is. Big reward that he's going to get from this at the wall. And it was also all this came from him like really understanding like how she was going to be playing. Like she ducked a lot at the wall. Yeah. And she was also not really respecting the plus frames like she did right there.
Wow. Yeah. You know, she was playing with such confidence, and he, I think, learned this a little bit too late. Like the 1-2-1s were actually working well for him in this set, and if he was using that a lot earlier, it would have granted him a lot more W's, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big thing too here is that you saw a lot of adaptation coming from Live Fast, and a lot of the same gameplay coming from Jameer Queen. Like really not that much different from how she was playing when she got the first 4 wins, right? Yeah. And this is a big important observation to make when you're talking about playing in a long set and how you're able to adapt, your willingness to adapt to the situation, and the funny thing is one thing that happens a lot, even I had to learn this, is sometimes if you adapt too much, things got out of your favor. Because in this next clip, we're going to see the way that Josie or Jameer Queen closes out her match. Kind of the same way she was before, bulldogging it, but just with a little more heart.
Yeah.
And you saw Live Fast kind of back off a little bit, make a couple of mistakes, and she was able to really just seal out the deal like she was before. Sealing out the deal was actually something that was kind of holding her back, right? That was kind of like how Live Fast was able to make that initial 4-match comeback again, was her just being really antsy about sealing the deal. But then on this 9th and final match, it just happened to work out for her.
Yeah.
I think her poking was something that was phenomenal the whole way out. Her block, her timing, whether it was on block or hit, was always phenomenal. The way she was moving around, all the things that were happening was phenomenal. Just like I said, the guaranteed damage and the optimal situations are all she really needs to be working on now.
Yep. Yeah, and that set was 4-4. Literally, it was like 4-0.
Yeah, it was 4-0, then 4-4.
So, like, big props to Live Fast as well for making those adjustments.
Yeah.
The only thing he didn't do was close it out.
Yeah, it was an excellent comeback.
But it was such an excellent comeback.
Yeah, and dude, closing it out on either end is such a difficult task. You know?
So hard.
Because when you, especially when it's like it's 4-4, both players have adapted in a lot of ways, and it's like, this is it. What card do you have up your sleeve?
Yeah.
And if one player does have a card up their sleeve still, and you're just kind of running out of gas, you get blindsided so fast.
Hell yeah.
You see that a lot too in Joey Fury, right? He's entered so many online brackets. One common thing you see all the time is he's in winners finals or losers finals. He's down 2 matches with Marduk, but then Marduk, the momentum king of this game, just fucking really just changes everything and just puts the play. It's like he's got his back to the wall and he's an animal.
The
right?
man, you can classify him as like Paul.
Marduk, yeah,
he's
very
pretty much
similar,
Paul,
very
yeah.
similar.
I was gonna say Paul Jr. and I was like, I can't call Marduk Jr.
Yeah, no, it's like calling a big dude tiny.
Yeah. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work, man. That's dope. That was dope. Is that it? Is that all our clips?
No. We have one more match that we had a bunch of clips for, and then the last one we're going to.
This man put the last matches.
No.
Yo.
There's other matches too. I just didn't clip. I didn't make any clips of the Aiden versus Sandwich one because I was falling asleep. Bro.
All right, no,
and it's your fault. You didn't help me out at all, man. I'm the only guy. All right, hold on. First off, we're gonna observe my mastery. First off,
you deserve this. You deserve this.
All right, so this first.
You deserve this.
So this first clip is I don't think there was anything special. It was just this first clip was just like kind of showcasing like what this match was like between me and Chilliams. It was basically both characters just kind of fucking brawling. Yeah. And I was also like I didn't even play, so I was kind of warming up. Yeah. I wanted to pick Miguel because I've had a lot of fun with him, and my goal in this match was actually to do a lot of defense, like actually let a lot of shit go because I wanted to kind of prove a point that King isn't that fucking scary. He's pretty fucking scary, don't get me wrong. But I think if you play versus him right, move in the right situations, and have at least semi-decent reactions, he's not that hard to deal with. I was playing too defensive, and I got thrown way more than I should have, but I also broke a shit ton of throws. Like, probably
more than
70 to 80% of the
more
throws
than
were
normal people do against Chilliams, yes.
Yeah.
Because Chilliams throws a whole book of throws at you.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though, right, is one really good thing about this character, and we were talking about it earlier, right? Even though I broke about 80% of these throws, those 20% that I didn't were games that he won.
Shit.
Straight up. Yeah. And that's important as King. As the King main, he has to understand. And Chilliams is someone that definitely understands that.
Oh, yeah.
He is not intimidated by anything that you really do to him when it comes to stopping his game plan. He's still going to try to run it. That's a good strength of his. Yeah. It also can be a flaw of his, which I definitely exploit a lot.
Yes. Absolutely agree. When I fight Chilliams, it's true that... he starts becoming predictable when you know that he wants to do his own thing.
Yeah.
Agreed. But this time around, though, I think that the reason why he's been so successful on Brightest Lights recently has been just the fact that not only is he throwing, but he's actually mixing up all of his throws.
Absolutely. Yeah, he mixes up the throws phenomenally. He's really testing your reactions, making sure you're keeping yourself on your toes. Using a lot more of the chain throws now, too, as I've tried to I myself and other players I know, I've tried to recommend to him because it's when you're dealing with a player who can react, you want to use those chain throws that visually mix you up. They could be any.
You got to guess. You really got to guess what the next connection is.
Yeah, or you're going to hard duck. And if you're hard ducking versus King, that could be your life right there.
You know, I might take my chances in hard duck sometimes.
You know, hard duck sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to put the money on the table.
You do.
You gotta call. You know.
Yeah, and some of the throws can be a little obvious, and so why not get a launch is kind of like my motive. And then also you kind of want them to do the mids. Because I think that his strength is in the throw.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah. Especially with that new buff that they received, where a couple of his throws got extra tracking to one side or the other too.
Yeah.
So there's more. There, it's not as simple as like I used to just sidestep right to him all the time, and now it's not that easy. You know, I think giant swing is the one that's going to catch you going that way.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so you know, you just got to pay attention to. Every king player plays differently.
Absolutely. This next clip, I wanted to show off a little bit of the optimal king gameplay that came from Montel Chilliams. Now, this is stuff that you only see from someone who definitely mains the character, you know. Optimal spacing, optimal timing, good reactions, doing the max damage combos. This is what I like to see from someone who mains their character. It's kind of what I expect. You know what I'm saying? Someone who knows the right thing to do in every situation. And it's because he puts a lot of time and effort into this one character. He doesn't really play anybody else. Not saying you have to marry a character, but I think 2 to 3 is definitely something you should like aspire to have, and have one who's like really that's your main.
And I also want to say I want to say 2 points here. The first point here is Chilliams' positioning was his main thing, and this is why he won this set, because he made sure to keep Danks back against the wall. He did small steps to realign to make sure that, you know, he was pretty much straight on. Like if you pay attention to this part here, he does the combo, takes to the wall, steps to the left, realigns.
Yep,
Boom.
and he moves opposite direction to keep my back straight on the wall, like he was saying.
Back against the wall, then he hits you with a wall bounce, combo, another throw, and you're dead.
Yep.
That's awesome. And then the other point I was gonna say. Oh yeah, he's dead.
Yeah,
the other point I forget my other point.
It's okay. It was probably a fantastic point though.
It'll come back.
Oh, what do we have next here? I forgot all these clips, man. Oh, this one was really cool. He even liked it so much he posted a Twitter clip about it. Ooh. Here's Chilliams breaking a shit ton of walls. You know, this was optimal too, and this is just more flexing about like this dude knows his character.
Hey, Effect, I think you're right, bro. Like I think this stage benefits King a lot more than the other one. Like this stage right here, King can do some good stuff, bro. I see why you picked this one. I see why you like this stage the most.
I think more characters benefit overall from this than Forgotten Realm, though. So I think that's why this one becomes a risky pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we're talking about stage meta, that's some shit that like really only matters to like the super highest level. Yeah. Unless you're like anyone can benefit from like thinking about, do I want to go wall or infinite stage? That's definitely a smaller decision to make. Yeah. But starting to nit grit about like which stage you want to pick, it's sometimes you just want to don't think too much about that stuff. I know I don't. Lately I just pick fucking Beach Paradise, baby.
All day. And you know what I tell my friends? I'm like, yo, don't break the wall, bro. I don't want to go on the beach. I like to stay right on top where Lee is at. You know what I'm saying? With the like bitches. And we just have a good time. I love that music, and it's all good. If you knock me downstairs, and you put me in the sand, I'm gonna be mad at you.
Oh man. What else was there? I think we had definitely less clips from this one than the Jameer Queen match. Oh, and this next clip was really nice because I don't see enough Miguel players do this, and I think this shit's fucking sick. Baited his ass. That shit is so tight.
That is so tight.
But then I dropped the combo because I'm ass. I think I still win. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I threw him. Yeah, there was only like 2 times.
Did you do a rage drive and cancel it, or did it just freeze at a weird point?
It just freeze.
Okay,
yeah, no, he gets pushed back in plus frames. There's really nothing he can do after. At the wall, it's pretty good. The plus frames you can actually like use at the wall.
I gotta give you props. You were pretty brave to do that in general with your back against the wall, because I know you can't block when you do that little transition.
I would say there's only about like 15 to 20 frames that he could have interrupted me before I would have been able to block. Oh. Well, you have to understand that there's a window in that 20 frame period that I have armor. On top of the fact that he also has to react to that, and him reacting to that is why he lost, because there's brain lag involved in that.
There was definitely some hesitation frames in there, and I think, but he did go for the right move. He did do forward too.
Yeah. Plus, when people see power crush, if you're trying to react to something, right? Because in that situation, he was at the wall playing it safe. He's got the life lead. He's like, I just gotta wait for TooDank to whiff something. I'm gonna fuck him up, right? Yeah. And he was looking for me to whiff something. He sees that I do a power crush. When you see power crush, you want to hold back to block and block the minus frames, right?
Yeah.
But then the cancel happens. And there's a lot of moves that are like that. You play Devil Jin, you're very famous for doing the 4-1+2 cancels, right?
Oh yeah.
Or back 1-2 cancels even, right? Because by the only way you can those are theoretically launch punishable. On paper, you can launch those when he does that, right?
Always.
But there's the element of brain lag involved. You as the player holding that are trying to react to the second hit, and then the second hit doesn't come out. By the time you are able to react, it's too late.
Yeah.
You lost the opportunity.
Yeah. No, that's important to note, and that's like getting into the nitty gritty of your character, and really just like exercising like your brain to like. You got to use all the moves. I think every move has a use. Now there's some moves that are absolutely like no use whatsoever, but like I love my character so much that I try to find a use for everything, and as you get better with your character, you'll do the same.
Absolutely, definitely. Character mastery is something that is super important. It's something that also is like, it's a little easier to learn as opposed to mastering Tekken fundamentals. Let's be real here. Tekken fundamentals, you're going to be mastering that for your whole fucking life.
Hell yeah.
And it's something that is constantly evolving too. Whereas like the learning all the character stuff, learning your character is going to be able to carry you kind of a little bit further, beat players you might not necessarily be better than, but you have like the one up on character knowledge or character expertise, right? Certain gimmicks are going to help you think about less of the game, right? Because gimmicks do kind of carry you a little bit to an extent. Everybody's got to have something that is going to be tricky for the opponent, right?
Yeah.
That gimmick is like an inherently negative term, but I don't think it is.
No, I think it's actually important, to have we call them gimmicks, but they're like special attributes to that character that you play, and you use them to win matches.
Yeah.
And so I think they're important, but I do know that you don't want to abuse them when they stop working.
Absolutely. You actually just want to change the way you use them.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the greatest things that Danny B ever taught me was how all you had to do was change the timing, and it's like it's a different move.
Yeah.
And if all you have to do is change the timing, that means there's a million ways you can change the move.
Yeah.
And if there's a million ways you can change the move, that means your down forward one is potentially like a million different fucking moves.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah, that's so important, especially in Tekken 7, where again, this is not tag 2, it's just one bar to manage, and timing is everything, and also low parries grant you so much reward. So like timing is so important, especially if you want to land your lows to close out a match or land lows in general.
Definitely. What do we got here? 3 more clips. Play that double KO one, duty. This one was pretty tight. I think everybody liked this one because I had to make a pretty hard comeback for this. I had like one option, one life left.
Yo, this chat is out of control, bro. I see raccoons and rats. Like, what the hell is going on in there? Yo, you guys are toxic. Watch some Tekken. God damn it. Can't get y'all to focus on for shit.
They ain't trying to learn.
They ain't trying to learn nothing. Double KO. Run that back.
So this clip had a lot of interesting stuff. I got smoked. Really good whiff punishment because I whiffed of launch punishable low for no reason. And I had very little mistakes to make. He tried closing the round out with a low. I low parried it, and that just started my momentum. I get a combo that I spike him in the middle of the ground so that I reset into Oki, or neutral at least. Get that. And this is a new buff. So that's Miguel Season 4 shit, and it's also partially why I think he's a really stupid-ass gorilla character right now.
Yeah, because that Savage Low is like +6 now, right?
No, it's +4.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's always been +4 for a while. I think they actually nerfed it. It used to be it used to force crouch. It used to be +5, I think, even, but they've nerfed, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I think
but the force crouch is definitely a nerf. The only buff they gave it
Savage
was,
Low, I mean. Sorry.
The only buff they gave it was they gave it that whip sound effect, and it makes it feel a lot more plus on block on hit. I mean, but the big buff to it is the fact that he gets his Savage Back 1 is now a tracking mid. It was a mid before that was I-14, and it would frame trap, but it was very linear. And that was always Miguel's problem with his plus frames. You could always step to the left for most of his stuff, or walk to the right, and you'll evade most of his stuff. But now it's not necessarily the case anymore. He sticks to you like fucking glue with that Savage Back 1. Because all of his plus frames will frame trap with back 1 afterwards. If they don't frame trap, they do that. They trade with jabs and dick jabs because it's exactly I-14 versus and he's +4 on hit.
And
after
Savage back one
before.
is mid.
Mid, correct.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's a tracking mid that's going to frame trap. So AKA Miguel doesn't have to think, basically. And in that situation, being aware of that is what got me that win in the first place.
Sweet.
So it's a really, really good buff for him. I think that, along with the forward change that they made so that he can hold it and go into stance, I think those things made him extremely strong. As strong as he is probably ever going to be, because he might get nerfed because of glaciating.
Absolutely.
And what else is there? Oh yeah, more clips of me being defensive. I think this was showcasing what I was saying before about like Montel's like not really changing it up too much and me just being used to what he was doing. Because I had double whiff punishment with the Savage 2, breaking throws. Oh, in that situation, I did the option select with forward 2-1, right? He did the forward 2 down 1, and you saw I ducked and then went back up, right? That's how you cover both options. And it was especially easy because he delayed the down 1 afterwards too, right? Sometimes as a king, you have to commit to it, forward 2 down 1 right away.
Yep.
But because he delayed it, it was even easier for me to option select. And then the next time he did forward 2-1 again raw, and I just ducked it and launched him. And then I also had a really funny scenario at the end where I ran up and stomped him, and then the shoulder got him like cross up. It was very weird, but I had to clip it.
No, that was sweet. No, you did everything well there. I think he capitalized on like one whiff punish, but overall, like you just made some really. Oh, look at that! How sick is that? Did he spring?
Yeah, he sprung.
Okay,
he did a
that's
spring kick, and then I like hit him cross up. It was so weird.
Yeah, that's neat. That was sweet. Yeah, that was optimal spacing on your behalf. Good awareness.
Yep.
And you got damage.
Yep. And then the last clip is just me getting the kill. I think this one was really impressive too.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
Of course you do. But this is important, bro. You gotta watch your matches. This guy is gonna watch his matches with such a keen eye.
Yeah.
And pay attention to. Oh, you got the throw.
Yeah, because it was two
irony
simple
of beating a king player with a throw.
Well, I was gonna say there was two things that I was able to capitalize on that just literally two things I noticed that just gave me that round, which also gave me the whole set, which was a close set still. It was 5-4, right? But the first thing was I did a lot of forward 4 single hits going into stance, which means he was gonna mash into the second hit. He got counter hit. I get the combo. I get the knockdown into the Oki. And I knew he also wasn't going to break the throw because he doesn't break the But I also not only did I know that already as a player, but I also know that in that set I threw him twice and he didn't break it already. So that's just information I had in my pocket, you know?
Yep. And you know what? You probably saved it.
Exactly.
You saved it for when it counted. And then also here I like that you did 2 forward dashes, like 2 dash blocks.
Yeah.
Which I think is also...
Well, actually, interestingly enough, it wasn't even a dash block. I do something with Miguel. It's kind of hard to see on the Twitch clip, but I do stance cancels. I do dash up 3+4, and I'm in stance, and then you dash again to cancel it, or you press down back to cancel it.
Oh, so you were trying to. So you could potentially stay in Savage if you wanted.
Absolutely, yeah. Or I could do his fast moves out of it. I could do his power crush out of it.
Gotcha.
You know, lots of options. I could have just dashed up and done Savage down back 3 if I knew he was gonna block. Because like in that situation, that's what he did, was he just blocked.
Yeah.
But doing that dash up twice, 1, I was gonna be able to block something like a random hop kick. 2, I was gonna be able to react and see if he did anything. I was able to react and see that he just blocked. So 3, I threw him. You know.
Even if you're not Miguel, I think it's super important to add that to your game in general.
Yep.
Is just being able to dash and then block.
Dash block,
and then block. You get so much information the closer you get to your opponent while in guard that it's scary. And I think it goes under, like, I think it's something that all Boston players need to apply in their game ASAP. You see it at high level all the time, but it's so important. Dashing and blocking. It also is the added benefit where it changes your timing as well. Because people don't know what you're going to do, and if you don't do anything, it just makes them want to react.
Yeah, the best way I've heard it explained, and I can there's a funny clip of Bronson talking about it, and I can always send anyone that asks for it, where he talks about how it's your interrogation tool to figure out what kind of a quote motherfucker he is, right? Yeah. Because he always says, is he a pokey motherfucker? Is he a steppy motherfucker? Is he gonna duck? What's he gonna do? Because that's what you figure out.
Is he a ducky motherfucker? Yeah. How could you not say that one?
Because
is he a ducky
I don't
motherfucker?
Know, man. Maybe I got tired of cursing. This is a children's stream, you know. But anyway, yeah. So the reason it's such a good interrogation tool is because it like kind of forces them to do something, right? You want to stay in the range that you want to be at, whether it's range 0 or range 2. You dash guard into that range and stop, right? Then they're probably going to do something, and anything that they do is something that's information for you. If they do nothing, that's information. If they backdash, that's information. If they sidestep, if they mash, what did they mash? Why did they mash it? Stuff like that. And it's important to observe literally everything. Anything your opponent is doing is potentially a method for you to kill them, pretty much. No matter how safe they think it is.
Yeah, it's something I'm still practicing as well, because I have a tendency sometimes to guard a little bit more when I'm fighting somebody that's unknown to me. And then they're able to kind of capitalize in the set and kind of run their offense against me. Whereas I need to start using dash guard to kind of intimidate, but also to get my damage from blocking.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people, the cycle of this game really that naturally happens is you go back and forth between keep out, mix up, and baiting, right? And dash guard is like, that is the center of how you bait somebody, because mix ups happen from you getting in fast and applying the pressure fast, right? So dashing in and pressing a button, that's smart in a lot of cases, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's how you're going to mix up somebody very fast if you have a fast enough tool. Whereas like
Gitaru is still
right?
gonna win,
keep
but
out
he's
is gonna beat that. But if you're baiting them with something like a dash guard, that then beats the keep out. So it's like a rock paper scissors that you're constantly going through. And dash guarding is like a safe option. It's like going. It's like if rock had a 50% chance of winning and you just went rock all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the only caveat there would be that people say you can't dash block online, and so you need to take that into account.
Listen, the people that say you can't dash block online, I hear your pain, brother. I also had to realize that I just wasn't doing it fast enough, and I had to face that reality.
You just gotta get with the timing.
You really just it is what it is, because then you go play offline and it keeps happening there too, and you realize you could always get faster. That's what I noticed, at least. I mean, the first time I heard that was I heard it from Anakin. Anakin literally said that to some stream monster. He was like, they were like, I can't dash block online. He goes, then you're not doing it fast enough. And he went into training mode and he showed them. He was like, there's so many different ways and times you can cancel the forward dash, right? And a lot of people will forward dash, and they're gonna wait to see the opponent press a button and then hold block. And that's the brain to your eyes to your hands reacting and all that. It's not fast enough.
You need to be guarding.
You dash and you guard right away. Exactly. You need to already be blocking by the time that move is animations begin.
Agreed.
So that's probably a lot of what happens to a lot of people. Like, oh, I can't dash guard online. It's because you're trying to like have the perfect reactions, and that's not even available offline. Because of the way your brain just naturally works. So
that's it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there is the option of going freestyle on the Aiden and Sandwich match. Honestly, I think they both did really well, and they both knew exactly what they want to do. Those are two players that are very self-sufficient, I think. Aiden's always watching his own matches back, and he's probably the most studious player in our region. I think he's someone to look after. Definitely not someone to talk to. He'll blow up your fucking DMs. No, just kidding. Always talk to Aiden. It's just like you have to be ready for him to like give you the secrets of the universe.
I figured it out. I know what I gotta do with Brian now. I figured this all out. I can't believe it took me this long,
dude. And you just blank.
Yeah.
Just blank. And I think recently it's been just forward 3, and it's worked out for him. Forward 3 is a very good move.
He is one of those guys. I think that could use all of his moves more, but he has an opinion on all of his moves all the time. And so he'll get there, and he's gonna start using a lot more moves, and it'll be great. And Sandwich just in general is just a lab rat. Yeah,
Sandwich knows what he's doing. He's someone who's also a very, very, very self-sufficient, but he's also someone that's very easy to play with. Both these guys actually are amazing partners to play Tekken with, because they actually really enjoy talking in Tekken.
Yes.
Like I'll get on Discord with them, or I'll get same with like Sloth, right? We get on Discord, and this is an amazing way to level up. If you're playing casuals and you can talk on Discord, because this is like something we used to do offline and we can't really do it anymore. You get on Discord and you talk and you ask questions. Hey, what is that on block? Hey, what is that linear? Can I step it? Which way should I step it? Things like that are super important. Oh, hey, can I test this real quick? Just jab after this and yada, 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 blah, 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 whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
It's going to level you up so much, as opposed to just like a lot of people just get online, They'd be like, "Oh, it's Master Raven. I've never played a Master Raven before. Let's just see how it goes." And they're just like bashing their head on the wall, learning nothing, and just getting pissed off.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And then they'll come back and say my character sucks, or they'll come back and say Raven is obnoxious, or fuck Devil Jin, or whatever the case may be. But to be honest, you really just kind of got to grind it out with the person that you're playing with, and it doesn't hurt to talk.
It helps so much.
Yeah,
And also
yeah.
another thing too is like you really can't like know your limit. If you're someone who likes to grind in the ranks or the player matches and stuff, don't get too deep into anything, right? Like if you're playing like 15 matches with somebody, at some point you gotta especially if you're getting frustrated, definitely take a break. Go into training mode and just look at the small things, the small obvious things that were coming up, right? Don't try to break down everything. Just be like, all right, what was that move that kept fucking me up? Oh shit, it's -14. I should have been punishing like this. If I punished it like this, they wouldn't have used it as much. It wouldn't have been as much of a problem in the matchup. Things like that change everything. And you don't want to like fucking just get too caught up in it. You play too many games, you don't know like what happened. Your memory's imperfect.
Screw you guys, bro. I don't like any of you.
F Danny, F Devilgen too. He said, you're not supposed to say that, but I'm always gonna say F Devilgen.
F Devil Jin. I get you. And guys, you know what? I think that's time. I know we were a little late today, so we extended it out a little bit more. But I think an hour is sufficient for this. I don't want to lose all you guys. And but it has been dope talking to you guys. We'll definitely do this more if you like this.
Yeah, things were a little bit rough today because we were mostly just introducing ourselves to this kind of like we need to figure out what the hell we want to do with the whole setup IRL first off too.
Yeah.
Figuring out how the setup works, figuring out the whole scheduling and scripting of everything as well. We also want to eventually open it up to viewer submissions. We're going to have it so that people that are in the BostonTekken group on Facebook, we're going to give it like a Google document that's public, and you can just upload your own matches with timestamps and stuff. Probably have some couple of rules about how we do it so that we get through them. But yeah, we really want to make it so that it's engaging with the community, because if we can engage with you guys to want to to figure out how to watch your own matches, figure out what it is you're looking for, and how to take something rewarding from it, so that you don't have to submit your matches to us. You can just go and do it on your own. It's a skill that you can now take with you, or you can also go show other people how to do it, right? So I think that's going to be a lot of fun as well. I think one thing that's been missing is community engagement. It's been a while since the whole pandemic happened, more than a year now. Hopefully with the whole vaccine rolling out, offline will be back before we know it. And damn, I miss everybody.
Yeah, hell yeah. I miss all you guys. Hit me up in the chat. Hit Dank up in the chat. If you guys have matches you want us to review for next time, we'll kind of go through it together, and then we'll select the ones that we'll review for next week. How's that?
Yeah, the way we would do it with those is that we would probably limit it to like 2 to 3 games each person, right? And we would actually watch it live with you, preferably in the chat, so that you're retaining it. And we can also talk to you and ask you questions live and stuff. And from there, I don't know. Yeah, we'd also probably do like a weekly wrap up. If we ever see something that's cool, we can talk about all the stuff that's going to be happening locally. Like right now, we already have Brightest Lights and IFF, Iron Fist Friday, hosted by Ed every Friday, which is tomorrow. So we already have those two, and there's going to be more stuff. I know V's got hit their Pokemon Stadium thing that they've been working on. Not Pokemon Stadium. I think that's what it's called, but it's Pokemon. V Stadium, Pokemon style, where it's like team captains. They choose who they're going to play, and then they choose who they go up against and stuff. That's a lot of fun. It's a great format. That's happening every Sunday, I believe. We don't have an ad to plug it, but if you're also in the BostonTekken group, you can see it there.
For sure.
What else is there? I believe Ed's
on Friday, IFF as usual. So if you guys are not playing in that, you should definitely, because you get an opportunity to play some of the best players. And to be honest, that's such a privilege right now to be able to do that. And I'm gonna play tomorrow. And if I get the opportunity to play Shadow or Joey or anybody else that competes in that, I feel like that is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Absolutely.
And you normally, if we're not thinking about COVID and pandemic and stuff, you normally don't have the opportunity to ever do that unless you travel to compete in tournament. So the fact that you have the opportunity to do so online in the comfort of your own home is such an honor and a privilege. And I think that, again, those are recorded so you can rewatch matches like that and learn a lot from them as well.
Definitely. I think it's something that both players and organizers are going to be taking a lot of advantage of, and if not, they should. The current state that we're in is going to be, in the next year or so, you're going to see even more online tournaments.
Hell yeah.
Because honestly, like, getting 5,000 people in a hotel isn't even the most reasonable thing ever.
No.
I'm not saying it should go away. It should definitely stay. That option should be there. The open bracket tournament is amazing. But you shouldn't have to travel thousands of miles away and get in a hotel room just to have competition, you know?
Yeah.
The option should be there for you to be able to play from your home. The option should also be there to have an enjoyable experience to play from your house. The net play in these games, we should expect nothing less than optimal, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
So, and people's voices were heard too, and they changed the netcode for season 4 because Tekken was in a bad spot. Tekken was in a bad spot in terms of, like, all the tournaments went away, and the thing that was really keeping Tekken 7 afloat was its esports, right? The people watching the streams, people driving to tournaments, all that had to go away, and the only thing that was left was online, and people really hated Tekken 7 online.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So that's where we are. Thank you guys. Episode 1. I hope it was a success. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, tune in next week. We got more coming for you. The Electric Digest. Over and out. Peace. I think we could eat.